What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Nosferatu's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at Fanstoys Dracula. And we, Dracula's have a right to be proud. What devil or witch was ever so great is a killer whose blood flows in these veins. I love me some Gary Oldman. And I also love me some Fanstoys. So, he doesn't have many accessories, but let's take a look at them. So he comes with this pink-purple gun. It has that metallic fleck plastic look to it. It might even be a finish. I'm not sure, but either way, it looks good. And it's sculpted well enough. And as you saw in the opening footage, he holds it. Unlike Weird Wolf, who doesn't hold his very well. But he holds his extremely well. In bat mode, you can store the gun in the back with just tension. It'll hold, you know, but too much is gonna knock it kind of free, but it'll generally hold. And he comes with the display base. It's the same one that they used for Swoop, and the front is angled so you know where to place it in, and then this bit here moves up and down on tension. It pegs into his undercarriage in robot mode, and of course it works for bat mode as well. And gimmick wise, of course, it comes with the Headmaster display. It's already painted on, so putting the head in doesn't change it, but for his speed, strength, and intelligence. And of course, the other gimmick is the Headmaster itself, with a very simple transformation. Just flip the legs down, and then the arms can come up. They're on ball pegs here at the shoulder. Articulation is limited. You can manipulate it up to about there, and you can get it around, but you just have to be careful. And then we have a single hinged elbow. We have the red metallic paint on the face. The feet actually have little ankle rockers, which is kind of crazy and nice to see. So you can get all the way in on ball pegs, and you can get a little bit up and down. And then the hips are ball pegs. You get out to there, forward to there, and then the knees are pinned on a single hinge. And then the face is definitely loud and proud on the back, but all in all, you know, it's good enough. And of course, if you move this bar up here, you can get his legs in there, and you can put him in, close this back up, and now he's a driver, he's a flyer. And now we can talk about the figure, which is pretty good. I first want to give a shout out to Titan One Toys. That's where I got this from. Great customer service, great pricing. Love dealing with them. One of the few companies I deal with, and strongly recommend it. Link is in the description. The head is on a hinge swivel, kind of. So there's the swivels here. It's a little bit of a tight tolerance, and then it hinges forward and back to get you an up and down movement, which is nice. Detailings wise, you have the silver paint on the face and then the metallic red on the visor. No issues there. Shoulders, universals. So it's tensioned, and you get a great range up. We rarely see that much, I feel like, on one hinge. And ratcheted forward and back. The head does have a tendency to pop out as you're manipulating it. And then you have butterfly joints, and the butterfly joint is forward, which we rarely see, and is what I prefer. Most times we see the butterfly joint going backward, which is fine, and is better than nothing, and obviously both ways is preferred, so to speak, but if I had to choose one, I personally would choose forward. So that's nice to see. A little bit of silver detailings. All the pink, purple plastic is metallic flecked, or it's a finish. I think it's just metallic flecked, but it looks good. And it gives it a little bit more kind of, you know, a little bit more sauce, so to speak. And then we got some silver paint there, and then this gray paint. All the paint looks sharp. And that gets you a thigh swivel, a double jointed elbow, and you have sculpted details on the back of the elbow joint, which is always nice to see, little pistons and such. You have the fingers, ball peg for the thumb, and then a single hinge for the first knuckle. All the other fingers are individually articulated, but they're pinned at the base knuckle and second knuckle, so that works quite well. No issues. And then we have some gray detailings, silver detailings, and the chrome ring on the elbow. Looks good. Same for the other side. We have a ratcheted waist swivel. We have universal joints that get you tensioned out to the side to about there, so a little shy of the whole run. And ratcheted forward and back to about there, which is a bit more than the full run on the front and a good distance back on the back. You have the paint detailings on the hips, thigh swivel, double jointed knee. The top joint is ratcheted, the bottom joint is not, it's tensioned. Using both, you get at least 9 degrees, if not a bit more. And then you have gray detailings on the side of the leg and the front of the leg, all that look good. The feet. These bits, when he comes in box, they are flipped in. You just flip them out. There's heel spurs. They're on a hinge. You can manipulate them a bit to help support his stance, obviously. And the feet themselves have an ankle rocker side to side. A tilt up slightly, not a great tilt up, but he's a flying figure, so it's better to have a tilt down for him, where usually it's better to have a tilt up. And we have some silver paint there on the feet. The feet are die cast. There's die cast, I think, yeah, here in the hips, and he's a heavy boy. So let's look at the wings real quick. We have metallic flecked paint for the wings. Looks great. You have a hinge here. You have a ratcheted hinge here. You have a ratcheted hinge here. You have this bit which can collapse or expand out. So you can have it like this, or you can tuck it in a bit. And you have a hinge here, forward and back. So this wing gets ate up a little bit along this channel here. And now it's moving fine. So, good. And then you have individually articulated claws here, which we'll talk about a bit. Well, we'll talk about them now. So, pinned at the first knuckle and second knuckle, and they're all individually articulated. So that's cool. No issues there. And then there he is from the back, and with the exception of the feet of the bat, I mean, everything is pretty spot on. Size comparison wise, there he is with their Galvatron, and I think that looks quite nice. And then we'll show him on the shelf with all my Decepticon Headmasters. I'm kind of only missing Skullcruncher at this part rather, and that's shaping up quite nicely as well. And there's my Decepticon Headmaster shelf, just missing Skullcruncher, and good grief, that's going to be sharp. Obviously, Weird Wolf is standing in the only pose he really lends himself to, but the rest of it looks pretty sharp. All right, let's get him transformed. You want to flip down this flap here, fold the fist in, flap up. Same for the other side. Unlock these tabs on his abdomen on both sides. Pull the windshield away, pull the wings away on both sides. Then you want to spin the entire bar that the wings are connected to the opposite side of the bot, so that they now have the orange pieces facing you as opposed to the black structure of the wings. On the front, open up the chest, bring the wings up and against the side here, and then bring the chest piece back to hold it in place. Then on the back, open this up, flip the bat head out, and you can close this up behind it. On the bottom, fold in the feet heels on both sides. Then open the back flaps on both sides, extend these side flaps and these covers here, fold the foot inside on both sides, and then collapse both panels and secure the bottom pieces. Unlock the tabs on the thighs. There's one on the outside and there's one on the inside as well. Rotate just above the knee 180 and close the tabs back in. And you want to do that on both sides, keeping in mind that there's two tabs on the thighs, spinning and locking back in. Then on the lower legs, just below the knee, you want to spin the calf 180 on both sides. Then on the front, or when it's now the front, use your butterfly joint and rotate your shoulders down just to get them out of the way for now. It'll help you secure the back. Then you want to bring the hips back 90 degrees and then the knee back, and you're tabbing this tab into this slot here. And you're going to do that on both sides. You can then secure your tabs that you initially unlocked on the abdomen area, or flank rather, on both sides. Alright, this part messes with your mind a little bit, but it's not really as tricky as it seems. So you want to turn the shoulder universal joint around 180, and you want to spin the bicep swivel around 180. And then you want to bring this down, and this tab here has to go on this little groove on the other side of the hip. And if you just maneuver around, you should be able to get it, and that will lock in, and then you can have the arm like just out of the way. We want to get the universal so that the arm is going like this. You want to get this back and over the hip so that it locks in, and then bring this up and angle these in, and you're good. The instructions have you extend the tail last, and it's probably the safer thing to do, but it is a bit of a hard tolerance to get out, but it's tucked in between the crotch on the back side. And there he is in bat mode.
So, one of the big problems that this guy has is that he's so back heavy that he has a tendency, if you're not leaning him forward, he has a tendency to fall back. Leaning forward, fine. Standing straight up, he's gonna fall back. The head swivels, you got a hinge up and down. The flap moves as well, so that can help. You have metallic red paint on the eyes. You have this metallic flex, same for the orange. You have the teeth that are all painted, and the jaw hinges shut, which is nice. These don't really plug in, which is kind of another bummer, but they're there, and they're secure down at the bottom, but that's not secure, at least to my recollection, or to my knowledge. But maybe I got something wrong that I'm just not sure about. Aha! And I did. So I saw it as I was going in. There's a piece here that folds up, and that will plug in to the back of the forearm, keeping it solid. Thank God, because I was like, what in the world? And we're back, and he feels much more solid now, much more of a brick, which is nice. For the ankles, you have the double ball peg. It goes up inside of this cavity here and then down into the foot. Still, with an ankle tilt up, you get a motion back here on this ball peg that goes up inside but not a lot forward. All the toes are individually articulated at 2 hinges at the base and first knuckle, so that's cool. Unfortunately, you know, it's this upper ball peg here. It's this cut. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but if they had closed that out, if that would have just been solid plastic there, you would have lost the articulation of the ankle tilt back, but he would have stood. It would have solved all the problems. So that's unfortunate because it's so close. Back looks fine to me. The wings do extend on these little sliders here, which is nice. So you can get a full wingspan. And I mean, that's really it. There's not a whole lot more to talk about. It looks good. It looks the part, and it's definitely a brick. It's just this little ankle cut here that's the only kind of chink in the armor.
Final thoughts wise, we'll start with the negatives. I think the most glaring negative is obviously the engineering for the ankle on the bat, which if they just closed up that one little port, sure, it would have cut down on articulation, but he would have stood like a champ. I would have also liked a little bit more wrist movement in the hands, but you wouldn't be wrong in saying that I was nitpicking there. And honestly, that might be it. This very much feels like a back to basics approach from Fanstoys, and I couldn't be happier. He's heavy, he's solid, the articulation is built to the nines except for bat mode, but the robot mode gives you pretty much everything you want and a little bit more. It's detailed, it's painted, has a strong presence, strong hardware built in, clean sculpt, great presence, a transformation that doesn't want to make you bash your head against the wall, and a couple gimmicks to go with it. Not a whole lot of accessories. Maybe some of those like mind power things would have been a nice touch to add, but it definitely gives you the essentials, and then the stand is a nice touch. So it is a strong recommend from me, and honestly, it's one of the better figures I've looked at from third party this year in the Masterpiece scale. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.